What's going on, my fellow rock and rollers? Don't forget to hit the bell notification icon to be notified every time I put out a new video on my channel. And by 1994, grunge was in its last throes as Nirvana was done, Alice in Chains were on hiatus, Pearl Jam was growing more comfortable with success and fighting with Ticketmaster, and punk rock was all of a sudden becoming fashionable. One band who got their start just as rock music was changing was the Irish band the Cranberries, who achieved international fame with their multi-platinum debut record, 1993's Everybody Else Is Doing It, So Why Can't We? The album featured several hit songs, including Linger and Dreams, but in 1994 the band would release the biggest song of their career as they readied to release their sophomore record, 1994's No Need to Argue. In September of 1994, the band dropped the song Zombie, the first single from their new record. This is the dark history of the song. Released in September of 1994, Zombie was an anti-war anthem that took aim at the religious violence in Northern Ireland, also known as the Troubles. It was a far cry from the music heard on the band's debut record, but by this point in time, the violence in Northern Ireland was relentless and occurring almost on a weekly basis. Up until this point, almost 3,500 people had died and tens of thousands were injured in more than 30 years of conflict. And there would be one incident in particular which inspired the creation of the song, and that occurred on March 20th, 1993. Explosives hidden under a garbage can in the city of Warrington in northwestern England took the lives of a 3-year-old and a 12-year-old boy and injured dozens of others. The two boys had gone shopping to buy Mother's Day cards at one of the town's busiest shopping streets. And at the same point in time, the Cranberries were on tour in the UK, and frontwoman Dolores was on the band's tour bus in London when she heard the news. It was something that would stick with her for the next little while. And almost 2.5 decades after writing the song, O'Riordan would look back on the track saying, "I remember at the time there was a lot of bombs going off in London and the troubles were pretty bad. I remember being on tour and being in the UK at the time when the child died, and just being really sad about it all. These bombs were going off in random places, and it could have been anyone, you know. So I suppose that's why I was saying it's not me, that even though I'm Irish, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Because being Irish, it was quite hard, especially in the UK when there was so much tension. It's a tough thing to sing about, but when you're young, you don't think twice about things, you just grab it and do it. As you get older, you develop more fear, and you get more apprehensive. When you're young, you've got no fear, she'd say." The song was originally written by O'Riordan on an acoustic guitar late one night by herself during the group's UK tour. When O'Riordan took it into rehearsals, they played the song on electric guitar, with her remembering, "It was extremely busy and we were working all the time around the clock. That song came to me when I was in Limerick and I wrote it initially on an acoustic guitar late at night. I remember being in my flat coming up with the chorus, which was catchy and anthemic, so I took it into rehearsals and I picked up the electric guitar, then I kicked in the distortion on the chorus, and I said to my drummer, maybe you could beat the drums pretty hard. Even though it was written on acoustic, it became a bit of a rocker. That was the most aggressive song we'd written, and Zombie was quite different to what we'd done before," she'd remember. The band would record the song in Dublin with producer Stephen Street, who spent a fair deal of time getting the guitars to sound like other alternative music that was popular at the time. However, O'Riordan would push back against the assertion that the band was capitalizing off the popularity of grunge music, revealing, "It came organically because we were using our live instruments, we were plugging in a lot, and we started to mess around with feedback and distortion. When you're on tour, you start to mess around a bit more with the live side of things. There were a lot of bands around that were part of the grunge thing, and this wasn't grunge, but the timing was good. We couldn't have really fitted in with grunge because we were just a different type of band. We were Irish and from Limerick. We had a lot of our own ideas. A lot of the grunge bands were very similar to each other," she'd say. And the Cranberries' former manager Alan Kovac revealed to Rolling Stone magazine that the group's label, Island Records, urged them not to release the politically urgent song as a single. The label offered O'Riordan $1 million to do work on a different song, but she ripped up the check, with Kovac remembering, "Dolores was a very small, fragile person, but very opinionated. Her belief was that she was an international artist and she wanted to break the rest of the world, and Zombie was part of that evolution. She felt the need to expand beyond I love you, you love me, and write about what was happening in Ireland at the time." And while the band was already famous from their first album, Zombie catapulted them to a new level of popularity. Also helping the band make a lasting mark was the music video, in which footage of the conflict in Northern Ireland is spliced with O'Riordan, who is painted gold and in the company of silver-painted cherubs. The band would turn to Samuel Baird to direct the video, and he had a pretty impressive list of credits, including working on Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit video and Blind Melon's video for No Rain. Bayer would fly to Belfast shortly after the ceasefire to get footage of the area, and those are real British soldiers and local children you see in the video. Reardon, for her part, would praise Bayer, saying, "I actually thought the director was very brave. When he got back, he was pretty pumped, and there was a lot of adrenaline pumping through him. He was telling me how tense it was and how he was blown away by the whole thing. He got footage of the kids jumping from one building to another, and he got a lot of footage of the army. He was a very good director," she'd say. Upon its release as the first single from the band's sophomore record, Zombie would hit #1 in several countries on the rock charts and would be certified platinum in Germany and Australia. At the MTV Awards, the band beat up both Michael Jackson and TLC to win the Best Song Award, but that paled in comparison when the band got the opportunity to perform the song live at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony to honor those who brought a peaceful solution to the conflict in Northern Ireland. No Need to Argue would go on to sell almost 20 million copies based on the strength of the single, and Reardon looked back on the success of the song and the album saying, "I wouldn't change anything about it because it did so well. It was well written and it was well composed. I think it did so well because it's hard to categorize it, and I still like singing it." And the band would end up re-releasing the song with an acoustic version that was played alongside the Irish Chamber Orchestra for the band's record titled Something Else. The song, of course, got another boost when modern rock band Bad Wolves covered the song in early 2018. Reardon was originally supposed to sing on the cover, but she sadly passed away before she could contribute to the song. In response, the band Bad Wolves mulled releasing the cover, but went through with it, and it topped the rock charts and peaked at #18 on the top 40 charts. The band would donate $250,000 to Reardon's 3 children, and in 2020, the Cranberries became the first Irish band to hit 1 billion views on YouTube with their song Zombie. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe. If you guys have suggestions for future topics, let me know in the comment section below. Take care.